Right, call to order at 5 p.m. Let's go around and introduce ourselves.
Scott Ryder, Select Board. Scott Morley, Select Board. Dan Webster, Select Board.
Matt Maxwell, Town Administrator. Yep,
Deb Tangway, Town Clerk, Town Bookkeeper.
Tyler Billingsley, East Engineering.
that's correct. Mark Head is also here. Changes to the agenda. We don't have any warrants tonight. Cross that off. Something different later in the week. Public comment. I got a public comment. Deb Tangway, finished her New England Municipal Clerks Institute classes this week. She was awarded a scholarship for $1,200. I mean, she basically dominated the whole week down there. So, congratulations, Deb. Great job.
Became
Thank you.
Speaker of the House, right?
Yep. And hey, lucky to have you.
That was a good week.
You guys, anything else for public comment?
She said something which didn't hear.
Deb, we can't hear you.
Oh, I'm unmuted.
Oh.
I don't know.
Here's a. I don't think so.
Hmm.
Can you test Deb?
Oh, yeah.
We can hear there. Yeah.
Deb, can you sing or something so we can hear you? I can't hear.
You made it worse.
And do I?
Tyler's loud.
Well, so there's that. All right, well, anyway, we're all very proud of him.
Yep.
And we'll go on to our Coventry Station Road. We got Tyler Billingsley here.
I just came through there.
Go ahead, Tyler, take it away.
Yeah.
Sure. Matt reached out to me just after all the flooding and basically gave me a quick update. Also talked with Nathan too, just been texting back and forth with him and chatting with him and just getting updates. I think all that rain basically, no surprise, I guess, caused that slope, those side slopes to be kind of just added additional instability to it. So it kind of exacerbated the problem you guys were already having out there. It just kind of put a time, sped it up time wise a lot faster than it was happening. So I'm hoping with the rains calming down a little bit, that settlement should start slowing down accordingly. I think what you guys have done is about all you can do for the immediate kind of near term future. Just keep top dressing the road. It kind of went back to a gravel road, as you guys know, and it's a little easier to grade out. So I told Nathan and Matt, I'm hoping it's a FEMA site for you guys. They're kind of a pain to work with, but it usually is a pretty good financial project, financially a good project at the end for you guys to have FEMA cover the lion's share of it, if they will. I've done a bunch of FEMA projects in the past. The only hesitation I have with this one is it was kind of a pre-existing condition to some degree. So how they look at that will be dependent on who they send out. But I would document everything you guys are putting into that for time, materials, efforts, just to keep it maintained. I've got all the survey done out there. I've done a couple test pits. We didn't quite get to drilling before all the flooding happened. The drilling locations and procedure won't change depending on, based on what happened out there. It'll still be the same spots and the same type of drilling. I don't think it's a good idea to rush into some kind of immediate knee-jerk reaction fix until we have the drilling results, which are hopefully a couple weeks out, and until we do a bit more real design work, I'd call it. unless something catastrophic happens, the whole bank lets loose and it's not passable. So I kind of think it's stay the course as you guys have done, just to kind of keep top dressing it every couple of days, even though it's annoying, grade it out, keep it open to traffic because it is a main thoroughfare, until we kind of get more information to do real design work, and probably until FEMA comes by and kind of gives you guys a thumbs up or thumbs down if you guys want to go the FEMA route. Some towns absolutely can't stand FEMA and avoid it like the plague. Other towns see the dollars and kind of think it's worth working through that FEMA process to get a big chunk of change on a site that, you know, it's going to be a pretty spendy site for the permanent fix. Does that all make sense? Can you guys hear me okay? I guess I should have asked that first.
Yeah, this is Scott. If we did go the FEMA route, is that 100% cover?
No, FEMA, for the Halloween flood from a couple years ago, FEMA chips in 75%, and then this, go ahead.
So we're thinking 80-20 with the state, right?
Well, 80-20 with the state, but the state doesn't, I don't know that they've got a grant process that covers to the amount you guys are gonna have to spend out there. So it's 80-20 on a $200,000 project. You guys are gonna spend, and then it's 0% after that. You guys are gonna be way above 200 to do a permanent fix out there. So in addition to the FEMA 75%, the state has a match that they put chip in also, and then you guys cover the remainder. The state share changes town to town. So some towns have get like a 15% state match. Some towns get a 12% state match. It varies depending on if you guys have adopted, you know, codes and standards, if you guys have plans in place. So and I can look that up to see where the needle moves for you guys, but it should end up being around 90% for FEMA, 10% for you guys. FEMA/state, 10% for you guys. So it's FEMA. They're slow. They have a process you go through. Nothing moves quick with them. But if they look at that site and write it up, it is, I think, in your best interest to go that route, just because you will end up getting, you know, call it, for argument's sake, call it 90% of, and there's no ceiling on FEMA too. That's the big ticket that towns usually bite on, where a lot of the state grants max out at 200 or 175. FEMA doesn't have a ceiling like that. So if your permanent fix is $800,000, you know, you guys are going to be on the hook for 10% of that, you know, $80,000 or something. Where if you were to go through a state match, you're going to get 200 with some match, and then everything beyond that is 100% out of pocket, which usually stings pretty darn bad if you're paying, you know, $600,000 out of pocket. So FEMA, it's been a declared disaster. Usually the next step is they send out representatives to different towns to take pictures, look at sites, drive around, and then they kind of spit back their assessment of what they saw, and either write it up as a project or not. I think, you know, pictures from pre and post are great. That goes a long way. It is a lot of it comes down to who from FEMA sees it. I've had sites that I've looked at after a flood and been like, there's no way FEMA is going to fund this, and FEMA funds it. And I've looked at other sites where I'm like, this is a no-brainer, and FEMA fights it. So I think there's a good chance of this site, but it's FEMA and they're unpredictable. So you don't know until you get that one person out there to review it.
Well, thank you. I appreciate all your efforts, and the communication has been very good with the road foreman and with Matt. So that, you know, if nothing else, it gives us some level of assurance, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. And the other thing we've got a little time obviously before snow flies, but if this is just going to be an absolute nightmare for winter plowing and winter maintenance and a safety hazard, you know, we can kind of do a little bit, you know, instead of just top dressing with gravel, try to put like more of a medium-term Band-Aid on it, so it's plowable, safe for the winter, and just something to get you by to next year to do a permanent fix. I think that's something we should wait and see on a little bit, just stay the course for another couple weeks. But like I said, it's end of July. If we need to do kind of a medium-term Band-Aid, we can address that and do it, early fall, mid-fall even, just to get you by one more winter.
Great, thanks, Tyler.
Yeah, thank you guys. You guys have any other questions?
No, I appreciate you taking the time tonight.
Yep. Have a good night, everybody.
Whatever film you dump over there is reusable, reclaimable.
All right, next up, we have flood response 2023. You guys got Phil's report, and he's actually here to answer any of your questions.
Is it just the 4 people in town? Is it just the 4? Taylor, the diner, and
No, there was a bunch of.
So, they came back today, and we went with that 35 is the other place. The ones that we know of was Steve's Food Places, Current Building, the other one in the corner, and then John's.
yeah,
Looking at Marva, they have basement, so. The groceries, they didn't really have much loss, really, but they marked that down. I think, those are the ones who look back, look at that one on the road.
That was today.
We went up to 335 today, the other ones were last Saturday.
and they haven't declared it an emergency though yet.
So the way this is right now, there's 6 counties in the state, so there's 2 parts of the declaration, there's all the town municipal declaration, which the whole state's already declared as a declaration. So when they get to that part, that'll be the road stuff, and we talk to it, so when we get it funding, like we talking about it up there, which I told them, I said, yes, talking and everything, I'm gonna try to get it as a project. But like I said, it might be because they're pre-existing and no pre-existing damage prior that we not be able to get funded, but everything else, we're still gonna bring to the mission and all the other stuff that they repaired and things. The other part of it, public assistance. Public assistance, the president declared 6 counties in the state. And it's now total 8 counties in the state, where private citizens have the ability to go out and get funding for damages. Only County was not in that original one. That's what they're pushing for right now, but it came out. That in a certain number of major damages, living areas that damage to be able to declare our county as part of that declaration. They're doing it with obviously other counties, the whole state, but they're really, everybody believes, which I couldn't agree with that, but the county should be part of that declaration. So as of right now, Orleans County has not been added in public assistance declaration. Until that happens, we don't have any, our citizens don't have access to it. SBA does have some low interest loans available that they can go and apply for. I can get information if not information, we will pass it on. But that's what we got and what they were after the public assistance environment.
There was one email that I got regarding the roads, and if we needed an emergency repair, I re-forwarded it to you today. It said if we needed emergency repair, that we didn't have to solicit any bids, if we just had a contractor come in and fix it.
Yes.
And we could fix it up to any standard or the pre-existing standard what it was. So I think the town guys with the situation on Coventry Station Road, it needs to be brought back to the original standard that it was. It wasn't perfect, but it was not destroyed. So the damage to the road is definitely from the storm and the rain.
Yeah, the,
So I would think they should supplement us for, not the perfect fix, but
At
get
least.
at least what we've done, because
Yeah.
obviously it was passable. We dumped 1 load or 2 loads of gravel on it a year, not 50 roads every 3 days.
Right.
so part of that, is there's towns that have different policies that they have to go out and do it with. I don't think we have that. That amount of strictness, for lack of a better word,
The bids?
the big part. Like, we've always gone and just fixed and grab a contractor, and I think that's what our policy.
And we do have a policy on that.
But if it's an emergency. I think-
Emergency.
So, emergency, right, no, yeah, that's what I mean. I think
Yeah.
even other towns, even in an emergency, where they have their policies set, you still need to get them. And that's what they're putting on, you're in this part.
So I think that would be helpful to keep that email along when we set up the meeting, when they come out and we go visit the site.
There's a lot of big work coming. Said when I report this week or next week. This is how it is, and it started.
So we don't have to go through this tonight, but, we can talk offline and go through this stuff. What I think the town really should be doing is basically an end of shift report. When we're in an emergency declaration, we're in a serious issue. My thoughts and expectations of your position would be for a day-to-day chronological sort of chain of events, which should be coming to us documented, structured each day so that you can build a timeline. We get an awareness, we can't be picking up the phone and doing all that stuff. So we can talk about that. We can deal with that later, but
I thought about that.
that's pretty important stuff because we're sitting at home. We have no idea unless I pick up the phone and call 3 or 4 people. And then I'm getting bits and pieces of it. It should be coming, the other way. It should be day to day. We've activated a shelter. Red Cross is or isn't here. We've got this reaction and that reaction, and this road and that road, because our phones are ringing. Dan was dealing with issues. I was dealing with issues. We had people that were flooded out. He was out with tractors. I was wading rivers, to help people. And we don't know. We're not hearing. So we should be able to see that stuff.
So, and it's nice, and it's changed in the last, everything's changed in the last 3 years.
So we can go all through that what
Yes.
doesn't change is how we communicate, right? Your position
No, I don't.
needs to communicate.
It's just
through-
like you're saying, I need to do better information to this.
Yeah.
Pass that.
It's just, it's not as much criticism as it is, let's learn as we go forward. It's gonna happen again, right? Life goes on. But how we disseminate the information, how we communicate is probably more important than anything. And you're the key when, positionally speaking, when that happens, you're the guy. And so here, open, communicate, disseminate, and so that we're seeing it and we can ask questions rather than go out and have to try to drum up the information it's coming. And so,
I think on Friday, we had a meeting and we never discussed anything about it. And then Saturday morning, you're up 6 o'clock, waking me up and saying, hey, where the hell are you? We're in trouble.
Matt's car's floating.
Yeah,
We need help.
yeah. And I'm like, oh, I live on a hill. I didn't know there was a problem.
So, it's just, because there's a lot of things that have to happen, from people borrowing town equipment, outside resources coming in and helping and certain residents who need help. They should be getting that as best we can. Anyway, that's just, we can talk through it and get the detail, but thank you for what you summarized for us here. That's very helpful. That's what I'm talking about, it's a little bit each day is easier to sort of digest it and be able to ask questions back and forth rather than the wait.
Thanks, Bill. All right, now we have the Casella tax valuation dispute at the last select board meeting. Scott Morley was authorized by the select board to contact representatives of Casella on this ongoing tax dispute. Scott, what do you got for us?
Kind of pushy, aren't you?
You had 10 minutes.
I don't have anything. What I do have is initial contact, initial discussion over the telephone. Like all things in life, the emergency happens, so as you can imagine, the waste facility up there is a bit busy. So we have a meeting scheduled for August 10th, which is in White River. And agreed to attend verbally at this point is Mr. Labby, John Casella, Joe Gay, myself. And that's where we're at. It couldn't be done any sooner based on what they're dealing with up there and schedules. That's where we're at, so I apologize for the delay. So I don't know when our court date is.
Not sad.
It's not set, so
We need to go back in 60 days, no, 60 days, 60 days from the 7th or July 5th.
So, that's where we're at. I had a very, very good conversation. Every time I have a conversation with Mr. Labby, it's a good one. He's very, very open, very, very good at discussion. So we had a couple good discussions, and I'm hopeful that when we sit down, we can bring back some information that's helpful.
Excellent, thank you very much. Okay, next up, we have the town credit card policy. You guys should have it in your packet. I read through it, I don't see any reason to make any changes to it.
You saw it all as good.
I think all is good, I think people that have credit cards are myself, David Barlow.
I watched Dave.
Yeah, it's real lemon.
What is the limit on it now?
Like that, what was gonna say,
500?
something like that, we're not buying we're not buying a new car, all the way to Irisburg.
So it's all good for you, right, Ed?
Yeah, 45.
Yep.
Yeah, we've been in place for now, what, 4 years?
I'm good with it.
I'm good with it. Do we need a motion?
Yeah, make a motion, maybe sign one of those and I'll file it. You guys, all three of you can sign one copy and I'll file it with our rest of our policies.
So I make a motion that are we readopting or accepting the credit card policy as written with no changes? The
Yeah.
one that we've had in force previously.
That sounds good.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye. Great. All right, next up is the Community Leadership Summit put on by rural Vermont, I think, rural something. Anyway, this is something they do every year and down at VTC. They try to get one person from each town in Vermont to come down and they do little breakout groups. You know, talk about leadership and stuff like that. I attended last year. It was all right. You know, a lot of stuff doesn't really apply to us because of our financial situation they talked about down there, but it's still really running. They do a lot of good, like land commission stuff and a lot of you know, like how to bring business or economy into your town, like, you know, what kind of things we do to get people to have events in your town or have, you know, whatever stuff that brings people together. We've had one person nominated from the town to do this, but it's up to you guys. You can send anybody.
You talked to me a little bit about this. You mentioned that they do have a lot of younger interests.
They do, like, they send out like a, you know, a postcard and it says right on there, they encourage and send, you know, young people from your town to be got interested young people. And a lot of, it's during the day, so the young people go, and who don't have jobs, so a lot of us can't take a day off work, go down to that, so it's good to send somebody that, donate a day or whatever.
Would you have interest in going?
I'd be happy to attend.
So the person who's been nominated by Mr. Markov, correct? I talked with Mike, I bumped into him today, as a matter of fact, and it's, help me with the name. Your son.
Carver.
Carver. So Carver's nominated, he's on the planning commission.
Yep.
And he went last year, so there's some sensibility to that. He's however juvenile.
Right.
He's a youth, and so I feel very comfortable making sure that we have an adult present from the town. And so Matt, if you're, unless somebody else wants
You
to
need
go.
to drive it anyway, right?
Yeah, I just wouldn't have to.
Right, so I would think it makes them, yeah,
So if you would be willing to go,
I'm willing to go.
and just make it your day.
Yep.
And
and make, yeah, bring Carver, and that'd be awesome.
yeah, and help that way. I talked to Mike, he's not going.
Okay.
I don't know why or what the issue is there, so I think that's what we should do.
Okay, very good.
I think
Thanks,
so.
guys.
Yeah.
All right, other business. We have a couple of things under other business tonight. One of them is to sign that ADA contract, which you all have a copy of. We only need to sign one of them. And that's for the fall, what are we calling it? Fall Festival, and Brittany Marquette is here to give you guys an update on the festival.
Hey guys. So, your planning team is all here, Carrie, Bill and I, on the Cotton Fall Festival. So we just thought we'd give you a little bit update on what's going on and what we need to happen in the next, well, more like the days of. So August 26th, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. as we have done in the past. We were going to see signage go up in the next week or two. So we're getting the signs made. So we'll put some like at the end of 5 here like we've done, and either up by the school or up. We have to find out because we have to be careful where we put signs because some are town roads and state roads. So we'll have 2 or 3 signs put up. And then we also get the little ones that you can put in your yard. So we'll pass those out to anybody that wants to put them in their yard as well, so we can start advertising that way. Budget, we are still within our budget, which is awesome. We are doing so much more this year, which the town rated us 30,000 this year to play with. So we are at 27.4 right now. We have 5 acts of entertainment that are coming in. So Janet Fisher is playing, Mark Hyman, ETA, we have Rusty Louise, the logger, and then Marcus Daniel Band will close us out at the end of the night. We have 7 food trucks plus the beer garden this year. So that is twice as many food trucks as we had last year, which is great. So far, we're up to 18 crafters, and still more applications coming in. So the biggest thing we need is volunteers on the day of, on the day before, clean up, set up. I know Scott and his guys were really helpful with cleaning up and setting up last year, especially with the gators.
Yeah,
Can we borrow those again?
oh yeah,
Okay.
I can do the same thing.
Okay, so on Friday night, well, on Friday, we have snow fence that has to go up. And Bill has more kind of details on where that's gonna go. We're roping in the park again, but then we're also gonna be roping in the park and ride area. So the park and ride is gonna be where the cornhole tournament is this year. So we're partnering North Newport City Fire Department is partnering with Orleans County Park Cornhole. So we're hoping to have a really big turnout for that. So we're gonna put them in the park and ride, that also gives them the ability to have the beer gardens in their vicinity. That was an issue the first year that we did it, they all wanted to bring their own. And we didn't have the cornhole in the beer area, so they can actually drink while they were playing. So hopefully they can drink and play and be happy.
We can probably have the town.
Yeah, I'm gonna,
Maybe on Thursday, set up the fence.
talk about the fence with them and then like the lights.
Yeah, we did it last year, we'll get these guys to do it.
We might need some more fences. Because we're putting in the.
Yeah, because we're extending it into the park and ride, I don't know if we have.
You still have budget money left over to buy fence, and we can probably reuse it during the winter.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's lighting and then there's the sign that we usually put up. So that'll go up. So whether that happens, yeah, Thursday. Because then on Friday, Brian will be here with the tents to set up, and we'll need to set up the tables and chairs that's coming from Cottage and Spice. And then Saturday is a little bit less. It's, porta potties are already gonna be set up as well. So it's sort of directing people, getting everybody just into place. ADA is coming, 9, 10 o'clock. Yeah. So they'll be here. We're gonna have more parking into the village this year as well. We've been trying to keep a lot of at the school, but we don't have quite as much, and we want people to be able to park a little closer. So we'll be able to use a little more of the village this year. And we talked to AD about making sure that people that, you know, with little kids or older folks are able to park in the village, so they're not walking as far. So then Saturday night cleanup, if anybody wants to help, we just need to get all the tables and chairs out from under the tents. And get those all back in the trailer. Brian will come on Sunday to pick up all of the tents and the rest of his stuff. He'll have the bounce houses and all of that stuff gone on Saturday night, but the rest of it he'll pick up on Sunday. So if anybody's available to help after fireworks, to do that, that would be helpful as well. That's what I have right now.
Does anyone know if it's dry enough on a normal summer to park behind the town garage down on that grass?
So we did that.
Yep. So we did that last year, yeah. Yeah, we had all the vendors parking there, which got them out of the regular parking, and then this year, once the vendors leave, so the cracker ends at 4, once they all get out of there by 5-ish, that can also be used for parking for the remainder of the evening. Because we're expecting that having the logger come, he's going on at 5 o'clock, that may draw a bigger crowd as well.
Well, also, the parking lot, the one was supposed to be around 4:30.
The only thing I would ask is for ADA, I remember last year, as soon as the fireworks were over, they were picking up cones. It was really dangerous, like they were gone before people dispersed. So I think this year they need to.
I think we have them until 10.
Till 10, it says,
Yeah,
yeah.
and I'll make sure to mention that, forgot to mention that first.
I have a video of it on my phone. Last year was absolutely terrible. They did nothing for 3 hours hardly, and then as soon as the fireworks were done and the traffic wasn't even dispersed, they were going down, picking up the cones, and they were out of here, and it was just kind of.
Because they're thinking that's inside of their time of the 10 for work, so maybe we need to adjust that a little.
Maybe they.
I'll, tomorrow and mention that.
We don't want them to leave till after the people leave out.
At least
Right.
They're picking up during the fireworks. It was distracting. They had the lights going on, the fireworks are going off, people are trying to enjoy them, and they're picking up all the cones. It's like,
Their time was up to their.
it's like we gave you $5,000 and you're messing up this show. Well, that sounds great.
Yeah, thank you for
Nice.
so
Yeah.
very appreciate your work, you guys.
I'll volunteer for whatever. You just let me know what to do and when, and I could volunteer.
Sounds like it's the best.
Yeah, about 9:30 is perfect.
I thought so, yeah. That's fine.
9:30 to 1 is a great.
Yeah, during the Thursday will be like a couple of runners, so if there are people, that wanna help, I know last year, Dave and I were like running around to even getting toilet paper, to like, we put into the porta potties and, emptying garbages and just bringing that to the garage and getting new ones in, so even if there's things during the day that, if you don't wanna volunteer for like specific time, if you see something that you're like, hey, I can just jump in and like change the garbage or whatever, any of that stuff is helpful.
Have we got anything like that on our website? Could we put something for help? Or,
Yeah, there is.
So there's very
Yeah.
little information on the website, but
Yeah.
if we get more.
so maybe
Yeah,
get
tell
that
tell
front.
whatever anybody wants to be on there, it's this guy that is pretty good.
Let's do that.
Send me
Let's put them right front and center on that because we're a month out
Right.
Yeah.
and looking for volunteers and, maybe you guys could get together for half an hour.
You gotta mute one of your speakers.
And sort of help Matt target what you want to push out for a message. On something that keeps people's attention for this long.
I think last year there was like 4 of us that did all the work. Like,
There,
you need, if you had like,
yeah,
if we had just a normal group of, you're gonna help, and we had like even only like 4 or 5 volunteers more, it'd be perfect.
Yeah,
I volunteer Dave Gallup.
absolutely. First name. Yeah, so if you could.
I haven't seen Dave Gallup, he's still. I haven't seen Dave Gallup.
and then it will have.
Your phone's up, dude.
Deborah.
You talking to me?
No, it's the other person talking.
That's your.
Can you hear me?
That's your phone.
Oh, that's Dave. Oh, I thought that was.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
So just before we get off. That's distracting. Huh?
Yeah, mute your phone. Here, now try it.
Thank you. What I just heard is the best thing I've heard in months and months and months. It's obvious to see the effort, all the moving parts, planning and the effort, and that's impressive. What you guys are doing, and it sort of goes underappreciated, I think, a lot of times. So I don't think I've ever seen it that good in the times that I've been here. So more the merrier, and if you can get with Matt and push it out, and I can't say thank you enough. So thank you.
The laundry, is he medium?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yes.
That'll draw some people.
So we got, China Arts. That's on budget. They're gonna be very nice.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Have a party.
And probably in 2 weeks, when you guys have a meeting, I'm trying to get everybody's invoices in chat so that we can have the checks for everybody on the day of, like we have in the past.
We'll get her later.
Yeah. She can't hear. She's gonna say, we got another W9. Yeah, she is.
W9s.
Yes, I think I have everything for almost all of them, so.
All right.
Well,
Yeah.
thanks for the update.
So we need to do this then.
So yes, that would be,
Yeah.
do you want me to, 10 o'clock? I think she can find a time.
It
They
should-
just need to wait.
So your fireworks are at 9,
Correct.
they go for a half hour.
Yeah,
Tell them we want them to stay till 10:30.
They gotta
Same
stay
price.
until it's safe
yeah.
They can't be picking up during the fireworks, it's unacceptable.
for that much money.
They left a half hour early last year.
Yeah, they were gone before I was done. And we cleaned up.
I make a motion that we accept the service agreement for August 26th, 2023 from ADA Traffic Control in the sum of $4,800 to start from 2 p.m. until the fireworks end somewhere around 10 p.m. before they start picking up the cones.
A second.
All those in favor?
Right.
Aye.
Dave, do you have anything under other business? We resolved it. Okay, sounds good. Moving on then, we've got the approval of a couple sets of minutes here from July 10th and July 14th.
I'm good with one. I want to hear all of them. I think it's just one.
Okay, so you were here for the July 10.
I missed the fourth. I think. 14, I wasn't there.
So the 10th, we were all here, so I would motion to accept the minutes as completed for the select board meeting Monday, July 10, 2023.
So moved. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
This one was just you and me, Dan. Or was it just us? Where was he? Getting a grandbaby?
Getting a grandbaby.
Oh, yeah. So did you look over that? Did you see what we did?
Yeah. Yeah,
No,
no
issues?
No issues.
All good?
all good.
Okay. Then I'll motion to accept the minutes as prepared for the select board meeting Friday, July 14, 2023.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Right, thanks for having that. We needed to do that.
Okay, there is no words tonight. So we just have an executive session. Personnel one.
I'm just reading the personnel discussion. Is that
Yep.
right? Oh.
No,
Oh, sure.
you can read through that.
And all of their questions. Okay.
That's not for the meeting, that's for you and Dale.
Okay.
All right. I move that we go into executive session to discuss the hiring of an employee under the provisions of Title I, Section 313A3 of the Vermont statutes.
Second. All those in favor? Aye.
Bye, Deb. No action, and you should probably mention bonus.
What bonus? So can I do a summary?
Yeah.
You care?
I don't.
What we just did was we went into an executive session to discuss Mr. Maxwell's performance for the last year, it's safe to say, right? And Mr. Maxwell is doing a fantastic job. The board believes for the town. Done everything above and beyond. The town is very well equipped and running very well. Thank you, Matt, for that. So we've gone into much greater detail with him about all those things that somebody would do in a performance review. And the last thing I would say is that I, as discussed earlier, would make a motion to give Mr. Maxwell a one-time meritorious bonus of $500 for his outstanding service to the town and his extra responsibilities and duties during the time in which we had lack of staff for the roads.
So move. All those in favor? Aye.
Good. Okay, we can adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
So move. All those in favor? Aye.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Can you turn the recording back on for that?
Yeah.
Okay.